from KDKA TV2 Pittsburgh. This is Eyewitness News at 6.
Good evening. Pittsburgh police tonight are trying to sort out the truth about an alleged kidnapping on the north side. An 18-year-old girl who one witness says was abducted at the point of a machete by her ex-boyfriend claims she actually left with the man voluntarily. The initial story prompted a police manhunt in 4 areas of the city, but police now say the incident may have been nothing more than a false alarm. Brenda Waters starts at the beginning.
The story begins here at this north side address where this girl, Christine Martin, claims her best friend was taken away screaming by an ex-boyfriend, 23-year-old Robert Zakowski, just before 4 this morning.
He came twice. The second time he came, he busted the door in. And Sandy was standing by the door, and he grabbed her by her hair and drug her outside, and he had a knife to her neck.
The alleged victim is Sandra Welling. She lives at the north side address with her parents, who have forbidden her to see Zakowski. Police believe she or her friends may fabricate these tales of abduction so that she can see the man. So when Welling saw that all 3 television stations had the story of her abduction on the noon news, she called her parents from a Lawrenceville location where she and Zakowski had spent the night.
Where you at, in Lawrenceville? Come on home. Now.
Come.
Bye.
The police picked up Sandra at the Lawrenceville address and took her to the downtown station. Her boyfriend was never found, but then again, police aren't looking for him.
This is a domestic between boyfriend and girlfriend.
The story does have an ironic twist. It was just about a month ago that police filed another report of a girl being abducted at knife point. Yes, it was Sandra Welling and Robert Zakowski. The reports read almost verbatim. So although the police believe some violence may have taken place, they're washing their hands of this case because the alleged victim isn't pressing charges. At the Public Safety Building, Brenda Waters, KDKA TV, Eyewitness News.
Now, police are not charging Christine Martin with fabricating the story because she still claims it is true. She also claims Zakowski punched her in the chest while dragging Welling out of the house, but she says she's not planning to file any charges against Zakowski. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh police have found the gun taken by prison inmate Joseph Dees during his escape last week. That .38 caliber revolver was discovered in a post office mailbox on the north side, not far from where he abandoned the car. Dees stole the car and the gun from a 74-year-old constable while being taken to the Allegheny County Jail. Dees is still at large tonight.
Traffic is moving once again in the West End following an accident and fuel leak at around noon today. It happened when a lunch wagon truck overturned, spilling propane gas. The driver was badly shaken, but not injured. Traffic from the Corliss Street Tunnel to West End Circle was backed up for about 2 hours while crews contained that leak. 3 members of the same family are dead after a 2-car accident on Highway 286 in Indiana County. 50-year-old Rose Betza of Dixonville, her brother Joseph Mendeloff of Salzburg, and their mother, Anna Mendeloff, were killed when their car hit another vehicle head-on. The driver of the other car, 19-year-old James Neese of Pittsburgh, apparently lost control of his car, swerved over the center line. Neese is in fair condition at Latrobe Hospital. Firefighters are still at the scene of a fire at a Lawrenceville tavern this hour. The fire started at about 3 this afternoon in the 3-story building on Butler Street. The fire is now under control, but traffic may still be restricted near the intersection of 43rd and Butler. No injuries reported. The cause of the fire is also still under investigation.
That Bloomfield train derailment back in the news today as the Railroad Administration said it is investigating human error rather than equipment failure as a possible cause of that derailment. Senator John Hines was also in the area today, touring that area of the derailment. Harold Hayes went along, and Harold will have a report on that coming up a little bit later in this newscast. As of 5 o'clock this afternoon, Conrail closed its claims office at the Bloomfield Recreation Center, so if you need to file a claim as a result of that derailment, you must now go to Conrail's offices in Green Tree. The office is located at room 311 of the Conrail building, 425 Holiday Drive in Green Tree. And the engineer of the Conrail locomotives that slammed into a passenger train in Maryland is now under indictment on manslaughter charges. Today, a Maryland grand jury charged engineer Ricky Gates with gross negligence for allegedly running a stoplight on the tracks, causing the locomotives to go on track with the Amtrak train. 16 people were killed in that January 4th crash. 175 were injured.
Well, the Pittsburgh Marathon may be over, but there is still the marathon task of cleaning up after the race. Today, crews were cleaning mud off city vehicles that accumulated during the rainstorm that plagued yesterday's race. They also took down banners, platforms, and barricades that lined downtown streets and, of course, Point State Park. And in case you missed the marathon, here are the winners. Rodolfo Gomez of Mexico won the men's race, and Silver Ruger of Canada won the women's. Gomez believes the rain added about 2 minutes to his finishing time of 2 hours, 13 minutes, and 6 seconds. Ruger finished in 2 hours, 31 minutes, 53 seconds. That's just 1 second off the women's course record. Ruger also thought that the rain helped her. But the rain and temperatures in the 40s did cause some problems for some runners. 28 were taken to hospitals for treatment. Another 200 required treatment at the finish line. The big problem was hypothermia, very low body temperature caused by running in the cold, damp weather. And doctors say they treated as many people this year as they did at last year's marathon when hot weather was the problem.
Last week, 7-year-old Ronnie DeSillers died while awaiting his 4th liver transplant. There was some controversy over patients who get a second chance and then a 3rd or a 4th liver. Well, today, Lynn Sawyer talked with the mother of one child who received his 3rd transplant while Ronnie was still in the hospital. She had some surprising thoughts on that controversy.
3-year-old Brett Williams of Pleasantville, Pennsylvania, near Johnstown, was born with an enzyme deficiency. His only chance for survival, a successful liver transplant. On April 3rd, 1987, a liver became available. But after a transplant at Children's Hospital, an artery clotted, requiring a 2nd liver transplant 3 days later. That liver was small and abnormal. A 3rd transplant was performed April 18th and seems to be working well.
They feel great about his recovery to this point. They use the term torpedo recovery from the 3rd transplant. So as I said, he comes through them great.
Brett's case has had little publicity, the reverse of Ronnie DeSillers, who died last week awaiting his 4th transplant. As Ronnie fought for life, some criticism was raised over one child getting so many chances.
Publicity or officials aren't going to bring the liver any faster because they've got the system here that will bring it in, and they do a great job. I think for the public, it's hard to understand sometimes, but if they were ever put into the situation that their child needed a liver for life, they would do the same thing, whether it was multiple or the way parents feel toward other parents here. They don't want any of the children to die.
Little Brett isn't the only one fighting for life today at Children's Hospital.
There are 13 children in the hospital right now who have received liver transplants. Of the 13, one child has undergone 3 liver transplant operations, and 7 have undergone 2 liver transplant operations.
There are precious few organs available for transplant, and unfortunately, the demand far exceeds the supply. Until enough organs are donated, the controversy over life and death will undoubtedly continue. Lynn Sawyer, KDKA TV, Eyewitness News.
Just ahead, the employees of bankrupt Sharon Steel may soon become the bosses if Victor Posner has his way.
And the signs of the times are showing up on Pittsburgh's skyline. At least one of them was something you've never seen before.
Also coming up, message to the city water department. Why did you have to take his parking place? And that's been there 5 months. The story coming up.
Extra special. XS, the Calais XS from the Super Grand Olds Gang. It's a special edition Calais for our 20th anniversary. Extra special. Feast your eyes on the gold wheels, the body side moldings, the gold stripe, the luggage carrier. Inside, the quality options you want for extra personality and special value. Calais XS. Extra special. Take a thrilling test drive. We're your Super Grand Olds Gang dealers.
To get a loan in our day, you had to be King of England.
So we used to arrange financing for people, so to speak.
If only we'd had Equibank.
Yes, the Straight Talk Bank would have kept us straight as an arrow.
You see, Equibank got to be big and strong by treating ordinary people like royalty.
Friends, to get money.
Without having to run around the forest in little green tights.
Go to Equibank.
They could have kept Robin from becoming a hood.
Uh-oh, floor's wet. Looks so shiny.
A lot of cleaners look shiny, wet.
I shine.
But they dry, streaked, and dull. Well, not with new Mr. Clean. Its special formula dries virtually streak-free, so your floor looks shiny wet even when it's dry.
Uh-oh.
It's dry.
How'd you do that?
How'd we do that?
New Mr. Clean leaves your floor looking shiny wet, even when dry.
It all started here with the legendary foods of Italy. And when Progresso came to America, we proudly continued the tradition. We're proud today of Progresso soups like our magnificent minestrone, crowded with a garden of delicious vegetables. We're proud that our hearty chicken soup is truly hearty, with large chunks of chicken, enriched pasta, and vegetables. But try all our wonderful soups and taste the pride of Progresso.
That proposed marriage between Pittsburgh-based Allegheny International and First Boston has been called off. AI and First Boston had been working on a merger in an effort to solve AI's money problems, but Allegheny International now says it plans to look for another suitor. Labor leaders and Miami Beach industrialist Victor Posner both agree the only way to save his Sharon Steel Corporation from creditors may be by turning the firm over to its employees. 2 weeks ago, Sharon Steel filed for a Chapter 11 reorganization. Posner indicated at the time the workers could become the biggest company shareholders if an innovative concessions for power sharing plan is approved by the creditors and the bankruptcy court. Now, the plan would call for the employees to receive $1 in equity for every $1 relinquished in concessions. Posner did not set any timetable on that plan.
Wayne Van Dine looked into a dilemma for a paraplegic in Hazelwood today. It involves the city water department and a routine valve repair that began last year. It was never completed, but it's a story with a lot of ironies. Wayne?
Well, Stacey, it looked very routine at first. When the family called, frankly, I didn't realize who it was calling. That was the first irony. Secondly, the city's reason for not finishing a routine job in 5 months is very real. That's the second irony. Bobby Wiesen is the young man who received medical treatment in the Soviet Union. He's a paraplegic and is making a slow but courageous recovery from a diving accident. The problem, the city water department has taken over his parking space, which for some would be merely an inconvenience, but for this family presents serious complications. He gets around well in a wheelchair, and with the use of a special van with a lift, can make the necessary trips to the doctor and for therapy sessions. With what you have to go through getting in and out of the van, it is kind of important to you, isn't it?
Oh, most definitely, especially when people go to church and they have a funeral down here and somebody's laid out. There's no parking spots. And we had to get out across the street about 2 weeks ago and almost got our van wrecked into. The lady wasn't paying attention and another car almost swerved and hit our van while I was getting out on the lift.
They'd called the city for the past 2.5 months to no avail. The reason for the delay was a revelation.
The plate is in a position that it's holding the valve stem in on the valve, and that to remove the plate would cause water to leak all over the area. The shut is complicated by the fact that we don't have a secondary feed available for a J&L steel. If it weren't for the mill, we could make the shut very easily and repair it and replace the valve, and it's part of our normal operation. We hope that by the end of this week, early next week, we should be able to secure a shut in that area and replace the valve and get out of there.
So whatever it takes, Director Smith said they'd get to the bottom of it, and Bobby will have his critically needed parking space again soon. But it's a strange situation. One wrong move by the city, they have a flood. If they shut off the water, they shut off what's left of J&L. It victimizes the Wiesen family, which already has more than its share of problems. And Bobby's father, Ron, you might recall, was very active in the Mon Valley group that protested the disappearing steel jobs, although he's not active with them any longer. I'm sure the whole thing was coincidence, but isn't it ironic, Stacey?
Yeah, it is, Wayne. I hope they get that settled very soon, because those kind of spaces are needed, that's for sure. Thanks, Wayne.
Well, we haven't heard much about it, but we're certainly beginning to see a lot of it. It is primary election time, and in the city of Pittsburgh, some of the candidates have been keeping quiet. Paul Martino reports that silence may be a sign of the times.
20 candidates are duking it out for 5 seats at this table. There's no love lost between Tom Flaherty and Ben Woods as they square off for city controller. But the campaigns have been quiet, with many candidates relying on these cardboard signs rather than rhetoric. The people who sell billboards are pleased.
Gets the candidate's name before the public and more than once a day, because the public's out on the road and every time they pass the billboard, they see the name.
This billboard may be making political history in Pittsburgh. It's the first black city council candidate to put his picture on a billboard. Ronald Kaiser has been advising local candidates for over 20 years.
Political wisdom has said, gee, if you're black and you show yourself up on that billboard, a lot of people won't vote for you because you're black.
But Kaiser says he doesn't believe that's the philosophy to use for candidate Otis Lyons.
If you don't want to vote for me because you're black, I really don't think I need your vote anyhow.
Kaiser also helped city controller candidate Ben Woods with this billboard. Woods is tall, But he's also standing tall against accusations that he's being investigated for accepting bribes.
Ben Woods is saying, I am proud of Ben Woods. I am not ashamed of anything that I am accused of doing, and will prove that later on, and that's why I'm going to stand right out in front and be judged right here by you people.
And his opponent, Tom Flaherty, is ready to take on the tall challenger. All kinds of other campaign billboards are popping up. Some candidates consider themselves the people's choice even before we vote. Others want a new image. They don't explain what that image is, though. Check out this billboard. This is what they call a teaser. You're supposed to drive by here and say, well, who is it that cares about 88 neighborhoods? Tomorrow we'll find out, and probably to no one's surprise, it'll be a city council candidate. Still, other candidates rely on the old-fashioned method.
Hello, sir. How are you? I'm Michael Coyne. I'm running for city council.
Michael Coyne boasts that he's knocked on 18,000 doors so far. He doesn't believe in billboards. Some of the candidates hope to get on radio and TV next week, but that's expensive. And with a huge field in the running, raising campaign contributions is tough. So for just a few $100s a month, billboards may be the cheapest way to get your vote. Paul Martino, KDKA Eyewitness News.
Incidentally, Election Day is Tuesday, May 19th, 2 weeks from tomorrow.
As Ray said earlier, the Federal Railroad Administration said today that its investigation of the Bloomfield train derailment last month is now concentrating on possible human error rather than possible equipment failure. Harold Hayes has more on the story.
Today, Senator John Hines came to town to conduct a hearing and to ask some of the same questions that have been asked before. Hines, like Senator Arlen Specter a few weeks ago, wondered why it is taking so long to get the drug test results from crew members involved in the wreck. He got basically the same answer. The company doing the testing is backlogged with test orders. The question, though, came as officials from the Federal Railroad Administration revealed that they're looking at human rather than mechanical error. And they said in spite of a push for rerouting hazardous freight away from heavily populated areas, that option is not always a good option in their view.
Indeed, to some extent, that increases the hazard of handling these materials. The more times that you shift cars, the more times that you handle them, the longer they are on the railroads, the greater the hazard of having a release and a catastrophe.
Mayor Caligiuri, though, threatened confrontation when asked what he would do if the city believed hazardous freight was hauled through Pittsburgh without adequate safeguards.
Well, I told him I'd probably act like Jesse James. I won't rob the trains, but I'll stop them coming through our city.
The issue would probably face court challenges, but the city administration believes it can make a case for stopping trains believed to pose a significant safety threat.
If there is a hazard to our citizens, we then have the right to go in and take authority.
At the same time, Councilman Mark Pollock is asking the administration to find out whether waste from 3 Mile Island, hauled, he says, on the same tracks, is being hauled illegally. Pollock wants the city to file suit against state and federal agencies to press the point. The city has promised to investigate. Harold Hayes, KDKA Eyewitness News.
And still to come, Bob Kudzma with the weather forecast.
And the rave reviews are in. The Pittsburgh Symphony is coming home from China. That story is coming up. And we'll meet the man who makes the art of con, coming up in Lifestyle.
A leading independent consumer publication torture-tested 32 mattresses for durability, lasting firmness, and value. This one came out number 1, the Beauty Rest by Simmons. And now you can have all the comfort and quality of a Beauty Rest at an exceptional value. Our Beauty Rest Classic is available for a limited time only.
Save 50, 60% and more on Simmons bedding during Horn's anniversary.
Giant Eagle always says the shopper pays for double coupons. Well, I'm a shopper, and I say let's go to the source. The manufacturer will pay the face value of this coupon no matter where you take it. However, with double coupons, the store will pay the rest and make up for it by keeping prices high. So that means that double coupons are really paid for by Rose Richards.
Giant Eagle, if you're not paying the absolute minimum price, you're paying too much.
What's so different about Arby's new chicken club sandwich? The slice of Swiss, the crispy bacon, the fresh lettuce. How about the juicy tomatoes, the creamy mayo? What makes it different is the chicken. roast chicken, not fried. Something no other fast food place has. So come into Arby's for the only roast chicken club sandwich around and taste the Arby's difference.
Introducing a new riding mower with the tightest turning radius in its class. And yet the sort of heavy-duty transaxle and powerful overhead valve engine you'd expect to find only on commercial equipment. Introducing the new John Deere Riders. Nothing runs like them because nothing's built like them.
Bob Kudzma is here with the weather forecast, and finally you say the clouds are moving out of here, huh?
That's right, finally moving out. Once again, the forecast, my forecast was absolutely perfect. Timing was just a bit off on the clearing this afternoon. Well, we'll have clearing skies overnight. You live just south of Pittsburgh, you still have considerable cloudiness, especially down in through West Virginia, but you'll have clearing skies, rather cold. Temperature on down to the mid-30s. There won't be any frost. If you're afraid, bring the plants in once again. It'll be rather close. Mostly sunny, mild tomorrow. Nice day. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow. Hardly a cloud up there. 65 will be our high temperature tomorrow afternoon. Right now in the city of Pittsburgh, sunny, 58, 60 this afternoon, 42 is our low this morning. Pollution index around Allegheny County. That's good. The pressure right now continues to rise, and the wind is out of the east, occasionally around to the northeast at 7 miles an hour. At noon, we had overcast skies up into, north of Pittsburgh, around Butler, on and through southern parts of Ohio. Just during the past few hours, skies have begun to clear Pittsburgh, or just south of Pittsburgh. What you can see when you get down to the Morgantown area, you still have overcast skies, but clearing elsewhere through western Pennsylvania. These clouds continue to move slowly off to the southeast. So you'll be clearing out later on tonight down there in northern West Virginia. Rain along the east coast from Boston right down through the eastern Carolinas. Some very heavy boomers in through parts of western South Carolina to around Atlanta, Georgia. Athens, Georgia had golf ball size hail just a couple of hours back. Scattered showers also back and through the central part of the United States. There's a front that is moving so slowly, ever so slowly south, but at least it continues to move southward. That's good, because the high pressure north of the Great Lakes area will be drifting southward, and that's going to give us a couple of nice days, maybe a little on the cool side for you, with most temperatures in the 60s in the afternoon, early morning temperatures down into the 30s, but still, we're going to have plenty of sunshine over the next couple of days. Still mostly cloudy, or partly cloudy Ligonier, overcast skies down in Morgantown right now. A few clouds around Whitten. Elsewhere north, skies are clear. Up at Houtzdale, it's 58. At Mars, it's 58. Newcastle, 59 degrees at this hour. Most temperatures in the mid-30s. Upper air pattern, nice for tomorrow. A light northwest flow means drier air continues to move southward. Also means the high pressure system north of the Great Lakes area will continue to move southward and continue to push the front well south of our area. There'll be another rainy day, though, along the extreme, right along the east coast, but there's the ridge of high pressure just off to our west tomorrow. Gives us a great day tomorrow. Another gorgeous day here on Wednesday. Next rainy period will be late in the day Thursday as this front begins to chug along and move through here. But that's late in the day Thursday. Next couple of days, enjoy it, because we're in great shape. Rainy period all through the central part of the United States once again tomorrow. 70s not too far to our west tomorrow. We'll be up into the 60s. No problems there. Gradually, 70-degree weather moves in here. Just barely 70 on Wednesday afternoon. But look, only in the 80s. You have to go way down along the Gulf Coast states to find temperatures in the 80s during the day tomorrow. Here's my forecast once again for Pittsburgh and the surrounding area. Clear or clearing skies. And the temperature heading on down into the mid-30s. There could be a spot of frost here and there. So if you're in a frost-prone area, bring in your plants once again. 35 for our low. Hardly a cloud in the sky tomorrow. Pretty nice. Little on the cool side for this time of year. That high tomorrow up to 65. Pretty nice day, would you not say?
I'd say so. And the rest of the week, we'll find out.
I'm going to come back, yes, a little later on.
All right, thanks, Bob.
Pittsburgh Symphony on its way home tonight following a successful 3-week tour of China. The symphony gave its final concert yesterday on a basketball court in Beijing before 13,000 people. Patty Burns has been with the symphony members as they have traveled throughout China, and she's bringing home a series of reports which will air in a couple of weeks. John Sanders standing by. He'll have our sports report coming up.
And don't wait until he goes to Cooperstown. You can see him now. We'll show you a Cincinnati Red with a hot bath.
And I'm Alan Cutler. Don Norman says, I'm sore, but I feel pretty good about what happened yesterday in the Pittsburgh Marathon. I'll have that story.
Introducing the new Boron Pro Care Centers, the automotive service centers that keep their word.
They said my car would be ready on time, and it's ready. On time.
They said they'd fix it, and they fixed it. I came in for a tune-up, and my car is tuned up.
At ProCare, we've singled out and trained the very best mechanics in the business. We provide them with an exclusive system of diagnostic computers that take the guesswork out of fixing your car. It's service so thorough that we back all parts and labor with a 6-month, 6,000-mile warranty, plus our fail-safe free towing guarantee. We even supply low-cost rental cars during the day and free loaners overnight. And we do it all for one reason. They kept their word. So we can keep our word. Boron ProCare Centers.
And I didn't even have to yell at anybody.
Extra special. XS, the Calais XS from the Super Grand Olds Gang. It's a special edition Calais for our 20th anniversary. Extra special. Feast your eyes on the gold wheels, the body side moldings, the gold stripe, the luggage carrier. Inside, the quality options you want for extra personality and special value. Calais XS. Extra special. Take a thrilling test drive. We're your Super Grand Olds Gang dealers.
What time is it?
Too late to be here.
You know, we gotta be crazy.
Yeah, but who are we doing it for? Ourselves.
You ever think we'd have our own business?
Name a better team than you and me. All we needed was someone to back us.
Yeah. And the energy to put in 16-hour days.
The willingness to work a little harder. That's pride in performance. Some people build their lives on it. We built a bank on it. Pittsburgh National.
Well, the 87 marathon is now history and another successful one, John.
Absolutely, and by now Ray and the runners have dried out. But the marathon is still a sore, muscled memory. The men's winner, Rodolfo Gomez, used his muscles and his mind to win the $25,000 top prize Sunday. Alan Cutler reports on the teamwork that went into helping him cross the finish line first.
Making decisions can be very important in any marathon. When to make a move, when to hold back. Like anything else, the more you compete, the better your strategy becomes.
And there is Norman out in front of Nagacha, who is number 7. Over on the right side, you see the bib number 1, Rodolfo Gomez in that pack, as well as Jose Gomez is number 5.
Don Norman gives Rodolfo Gomez all the credit in the world for winning the Pittsburgh Marathon, but the native of Republic felt that Gomez's teamwork with his fellow countrymen was strategically very important in the outcome.
The three Mexicans worked together, mainly sitting in a pack. Gomez would send one of the little Mexicans out. I'd go with him because he looked fresh. You know, he'd surge, I'd surge. He'd come back in the pack, relax a bit, new one would come out. I'd surge with him. You know, they had me all guessing.
Gomez doesn't deny Norman's claim.
Yes, sometimes we talk about the pace.
Although he physically feels terrible today, Norman can't wait to run his next 26.2-mile affair. And what happened yesterday is a big part of sports.
Right, it happens in all sports. You know, there's drafting in auto racing, bike racing, everything. It's just something that you learn by. You know, I'm still young yet. I'm learning every day. So, you know, it's one of these races I'll remember. And the next one I get into, I won't make that same mistake again.
When Norman talks about the Mexican teamwork, there is no sour grapes. As a matter of fact, Norman was hoping to do the same thing with Rick Sayre, but Sayre was nowhere to be found. Alan Cutler, KDKA, Eyewitness Sports.
There's very little chance, in fact none at all, that Bill Currie will ever attempt a marathon. That does not, however, stop him from talking about it.
I live such an exciting life, up before dawn every day, work for wages that would shame a coolie in the 1890s, and sleep, well, I flop out on a place your dog would disdain. So, since life is such a bowl of cherries, every day a new thrill, I purposely seek boring people and events. Now, I calculated that if I got up soon in the morning and packed a collard greens and corn pone sandwich and got me a gourd full of stump water, well, I could be driven right out of my skull by the sheer monotony of the marathon. Well, it just goes to show you that if I had a royal flush, it wouldn't win. The race was good. By good, I mean I didn't even eat the collards and pone, though I did hit the gourd a lick or two. Of course, notwithstanding my admiration for those who competed, I cannot dispel a lingering suspicion that anyone who will risk a coronary, not to mention an onset of the Burmese bots, by running 26 miles, maybe they ought to have a jacket with the sleeves tied in the back.
Well, he's picked up the headline monikers of Eric the Red and Eric the Great, but Eric Davis is without doubt the hottest hitter in baseball so far this season. This budding superstar was in full bloom Sunday. He hit 3 home runs, including his second Grand Slam home run of the series with the Phils. Davis had 5 home runs in the series. He leads the National League with a .411 batting average, 12 homers, 27 RBIs, runs scored 27, and he's toting a .900 slugging percentage around with him. Now, how about the start of Tim Raines, who came back with a vengeance? 2 game-winning home runs against the Mets. This was the one on Saturday. He also had the game winner on Sunday. Who needs spring training as far as Tim Raines is concerned? Baseball this afternoon, just 1 game. They're in the 6th inning in Wrigley Field. The Dodgers and the Cubs are tied 4-4. Meanwhile, the Pirates have added a new player. Houston Jimenez is on the roster. He replaces Denny Gonzalez, who's been optioned to Vancouver over the past weekend. Sammy Khalifa is the regular shortstop there, but the Bucks, feeling it's better for him to play every day at this point, went instead for Jimenez, who has batted only 29 times this season. Pirates will start their week on the West Coast tonight in San Diego. Bob Patterson pitching against Storm Davis. They'll play the Padres again tomorrow. Then it's on to Dodger Stadium for 2 games. We will televise Wednesday from Los Angeles. The weekend will be spent in San Francisco. We'll turn on the cameras there on Saturday and Sunday. The Bucks wind up their very first long road trip of the season. While 8 teams remain in the NBA playoffs, the NHL is down to 4 now. The Conference Championship Series are about to begin. As a matter of fact, in the Campbell Conference, it starts tonight at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. Montreal and the Flyers begin there. In the Wales Conference, Edmonton and Detroit will start tomorrow. Penn State had 13 players drafted last week, despite having a coach who is very anti-agents and at times anti-NFL. Joe Paterno was a Pittsburgh visitor today, and Bob Pompiani caught up with him.
Oh, the life of a football coach. When you're not on the sidelines, you're recruiting. When you're not recruiting, you're making public appearances.
Gentlemen, please help me welcome Coach Joe Paterno.
Well, actually, I think it's more hectic when the season's over because you've got to travel.
Today, Joe Paterno visited Penn State's McKeesport campus to speak, and the subject was not football. Joe Paterno has been recognized as one of the greatest college football coaches in the NCAA, but he also would like to be referred to as a leader and an educator.
I think there's a tendency in this country to think that sports in and of themselves are important. Sports are only important as they lend to the development of a youngster and as they lend itself to the quality of our life.
That philosophy has fueled Paterno's belief that sports have become too important, too dominant in our society. During this past NFL draft, Paterno aired his opinion about pro scouts spending entirely too much time on school campuses in preparation of that draft.
Well, I think the pros are letting the thing get out of hand now. You'll have a team come in with 5 different people that'll try out a kid on 5 different occasions. Now, to me, we don't need that. I think we've got to get a little better control of it. The thing I would like to see happen would be to go back to the draft in the middle of February. Get it over with. Then the kids have some time.
From McKeesport, I'm Bob Pompiani, KDKA Eyewitness Sports.
Thank you, Bob. The Steelers signed 4 more free agents today, including a quarterback, Joe Pizzo, from Mars Hale College in North Carolina. Also, Warren Bone, a defensive end from Texas Southern. Anthony Mosley, a running back from Fresno State. And Vernon Stewart, a wide receiver from the University of Akron. And Pitt's Keith Tinsley, who was not drafted last week, today signed a contract with the Rams. Ray, by the way, thanks for your help yesterday.
Thank you.
I thought you looked great in your marathon shirt, too.
Was I cold?
I know.
And Ken Martin's lips turned blue at one point. I thought we were going to have to bring him back to life. Thanks, John. It was a good show.
Well, polish up those apples. Today is Teacher Day. Time to say thank you to teachers for their role in education. Governor Casey proclaimed today Teacher Day. And here in Pittsburgh, not to be outdone, Mayor Caligiuri proclaimed this week Teacher Week. The mayor's proclamation says teachers deserve recognition for their help in preparing students for life. Now, let's check in with Dan Rather for a preview of tonight's CBS Evening News.
Tonight on the CBS Evening News, we'll examine the effect the latest accusations about Gary Hart womanizing, but they may be on the presidential campaign. The United States Supreme Court upholds the right of women to join Rotary clubs. A report about that, and what about how women are changing the face and the car bodies in stock car racing. All of that and more on the CBS Evening News coming up soon, so stay with us.
And congratulations are in order because today you paid your taxes. We'll explain that coming up.
I'm Al Julius. What we want to buy, we don't produce. What we do produce, we don't want to use.
Who says it's tough to get going in the morning? Certainly not the people who wake up to Quinn and Banana on B94 FM. Get your day off to a flying start. Come alive with Quinn and Banana on B94.
Poison.
Dior.
Poison.
Poison is my potion.
Poison, the remarkable new fragrance from Christian Dior.
The finer things. Happily, some are affordable, like Grey Poupon Dijon mustard. Grey Poupon has the classic quality of the original French Dijon recipe created centuries ago. A distinctively delicious taste for meats, salad dressings, and sauces. So enjoy one of life's finer pleasures.
Pardon, monsieur, est-ce que vous avez du Grey Poupon?
Mais bien sûr. Grey Poupon, one of life's finer pleasures.
But here I am. I'm Howie Mandel. I'm on Evening Magazine. Let's talk.
Monday, hilarious Howie Mandel turns a backstage interview into an outrageous evening. Then, Helen Gurley Brown reveals how she chooses those picture-perfect Cosmo cover girls. On Evening Magazine, Monday at 7:30 on KDKA TV2.
The Bucks meet the Dodgers Wednesday, May 6th.
Pittsburgh police are looking for a band of gypsies that stole over $5,000 from a Shadyside convenience store. 10 women entered the store, distracted a clerk while one of them knocked off the safe and grabbed the money bag. Nobody noticed the money was missing until after the women had gone.
If you are wondering where your money has been going lately, well, here is the answer. It's been going to Uncle Sam. Yes, up until today, the money you have worked for since January the 1st has been just enough to pay your federal taxes. That may be depressing, but you can look at it this way. From now on, what you make is free and clear, at least of Uncle Sam. There are calls in the state capitol tonight for tighter restrictions on the men and women who do political arm twisting. We know them as lobbyists. Dave Sollenberger reports several watchdog groups say Pennsylvanians need to know if lobbyists are putting their money where their mouths are.
They are present at nearly every committee meeting, watching over the shoulders of lawmakers, watching out for the interests of their bosses. They are lobbyists, paid to advocate for a cause or an issue with the people who make the decisions. Yet 9 out of 10 registered lobbyists in Harrisburg do not report how much money they spend to influence legislation.
The law is very weak. It only requires that lobbyists disclose the amount that they spend on entertaining and directly communicating with legislators.
Common Cause would like lobbyists to report all money they spend to influence votes, including the amount spent on staff, which these days do most of the actual lobbying.
In the days when Pennsylvania's lobbying law was written, it was common for lobbyists to take lawmakers to lunch, to wine and dine them, and then try to convince them to vote a certain way. But that practice is outdated.
I don't think individual lobbyists do nearly the entertaining that was once done.
Instead, the emphasis is on personal visits, establishing a rapport with lawmakers, assuring access during a crucial vote.
There's a lot of lobbying happening. The question is that we don't know the extent of it, and one way to get a handle on the extent of it is to find out how much is actually being spent.
Common Cause provides a full accounting, but others don't think it's necessary.
Where do you divide the line on whether it's a lobbying expense or not lobbying expense? I mean, you get into real gray areas.
And they'll most likely lobby against tighter restrictions on lobbying. Dave Sollenberger, KDKA Eyewitness News, Harrisburg Bureau.
Now, among the big lobbyists who did file financial reports were Penn State and Hershey Foods.
It was 17 years ago today that 4 Kent State University students were killed during an anti-Vietnam War demonstration. And to commemorate the occasion, classes at school were canceled for part of the day while a memorial service was held. Some of the 9 students who were wounded back in 1970 when Ohio National Guardsmen opened fire attended today's ceremony. The University of Pittsburgh has named a new provost. He is Rudolph Weingartner, a former dean of the College of Arts and Sciences at Northwestern University. Weingartner replaces Roger Benjamin, who left the university last year. The new provost will take office this summer. Still to come, a road race proved fatal for 2 West Coast runners.
It is over for another year. We'll talk to Pittsburgh's marathon man about how he did and what he does now.
A Pittsburgh Marathon moment, sponsored by Eaton Park.
Under a sky of umbrellas, the people of Pittsburgh brought a ray of sunshine to the thousands of cold, wet runners entered in the 1987 marathon. The warmth of their support and the outpouring of encouragement helped to ensure another successful and safe marathon effort. A moment to remember from the Pittsburgh Marathon.
There's something special cooking at Eaton Park. Always has been.
Here's what people are saying about Pat Transit.
This is the best thing they ever did as far as bus transportation goes. I love it. I couldn't do without it.
It's cheaper than having to find a parking space and then pay to park.
That saves you a fortune, really, any way you slice it.
I think they're doing a pretty good job.
Oh, we go wherever we want to go, but we go on the bus.
Public transportation. It's everybody's business.
Bus with shampoo and conditioner? Who needs it? I want to wash my hair and go. And now I can with new Pert Plus. Complete shampoo plus complete conditioner in one bottle. Pert Plus leaves my hair clean, conditioned, and looking terrific. Before, to get results this good, I used shampoo and conditioner. No more. Now, with Pert Plus, I just wash and go.
New Pert Plus, shampoo plus complete conditioner in one.
Organizers of the 1987 Pittsburgh Marathon are calling it a success. The 26-mile race went off yesterday without a hitch, despite a continuous downpour of rain, which was not enough, though, to mar the spirit of the 3,700 runners. And, of course, let's not forget the thousands of Pittsburghers who braved the rain and chilly temperatures to cheer the runners on. Joining us now is Marathon President Larry Kuzmenko. Larry, thanks for joining us this evening. Each year, of course, we call the Pittsburgh Marathon a success. How does this one stack up to the other two? More successful, you think?
I think it was a very successful event. I was impressed with the enthusiasm of the crowds. In some places, the crowds were larger than they had been in the past 2 years, which is tremendous when you think of the torrential downpour we had yesterday.
I'd have to agree with you. Were there any major problems that you had this year?
No, we had one really interesting thing. The timing vehicle ran out of gas and had to pull into a gas station in Homewood to get some gas, but we got lucky there. It got back into the course before any of the runners came. The organization went very well, and I think the people of Pittsburgh deserve a lot of credit for being out there and cheering on all the runners.
You know, the two winners of the race, male and female, both attributed the rain as to helping their time this year. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first year we've had so many runners under, I may have the time wrong, 2:17. Was it because of the rain, or are we just getting a better field of runners?
We had a much better field of runners this year than we've had in the past. That's the first reason. The second reason being is I think the rain helped, but I don't think that the torrential downpour later on helped. We had 20 men finish under 2:20, which is the same that Boston had this year, and the women's race ended up being a very competitive and an outstanding race.
Larry, I understand there were a few problems at the finish line, language problems, where some of the foreign competitors could not communicate in English to the medical people as to what attention they required. Is that so?
This is the first that I've become aware of it. I'll have to check with Dr. Fu and Dr. Ellis and see if there was a problem.
And what about next year? Any changes planned?
Well, next year we'll be hosting the United States Women's Olympic Trials. So we're already begun to work on that. It'll be, a tremendous event for the city, national publicity. The women who win will be the United States representative to the Olympic team in Korea in 1988. And then the other race, the Pittsburgh Marathon itself, will start an hour later. So it should be a lot of work, but we're looking forward to it.
Larry, thanks again for being with us, and congratulations on a successful marathon.
Thank you, sir.
Well, unlike yesterday's Pittsburgh Marathon, there was one death that occurred during a race in another part of the country. It happened in Spokane, Washington, during the 12-kilometer Bloomsday race, one of the nation's most popular foot races. A 37-year-old man died of cardiac arrest shortly after crossing the finish line, and another man required hospitalization after running about 2 miles of that race. He is listed in serious condition this evening. On Friday, we told you about a group of Pittsburgh Marathon runners who would be doing the 26.2 miles as part of a scientific experiment. Well, all of the test runners completed the course, and Kimberly Adams has the results.
Rich Kaplan was one of approximately 100 runners who did the marathon yesterday for the sake of science. And today, he's recuperating pretty nicely.
My knees are a little tight, but I feel fine.
Most of the research project involved tests immediately before and after the race. Blood samples, urine tests, temperature, blood pressure, and general physicals. But during the race, the experimental runners were divided into 3 groups and given 3 different kinds of fluids to take. Rich isn't sure what he was given, but he knows it wasn't water.
First time I sampled it, I must admit I wasn't too crazy about it.
It turned out to be a diluted glucose electrolyte solution, and some researchers think it may help sustain the body better than just plain water. For folks like Rich, it meant avoiding the regular water stops and all those mouth-watering oranges.
It was tempting.
What doctors are trying to do with this entire project is learn how the body responds to a marathon so they can help runners avoid problems. They should have results and maybe some new recommendations in a few months. Rich says participating wasn't too bad. He got used to the taste of the drink he was given. It did not take a lot of extra time, and he'd do it again.
So hopefully it will be very helpful for runners in the future.
And the folks at the Center for Emergency Medicine say next year we can expect even more experiments with more runners. And you know, it will be one more way that will set the Pittsburgh Marathon apart as something special. Kimberly Adams, KDKA Eyewitness News.
Just ahead, live from Washington, it's the Iran-Contra hearings, and we'll tell you when you can tune in.
And Al Julius will be along with some thoughts on how to keep American dollars in America.
After years of work, one Pittsburgh artist is an overnight success. We'll tell you about him tonight on Lifestyle.
Busch Gardens presents 3 very good reasons to vacation in Virginia. Our beach, our history, and our Europe. This year, come to Busch Gardens and experience all the thrills, color, and pageantry of a trip to Europe, here in the heart of Virginia. Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. It's all the fun of Europe, only closer.
Deck owners, want your deck to look like this again? Instead of this? Big job? No. This bright, natural look was restored with Woolman Deck Brightener. It's new. Just mix with a gallon of water. It's safe, fast, easy to use. From the Woolmanized, pressure-treated wood people. Restores an average deck in about an hour. Woolman Deck Brightener. Part of the Woolman family of deck stains, water repellents, and preservatives. Woolman, products for decks that last.
Stand by for a special truck bulletin.
The world-class Ford dealers challenge Chevrolet. There is only one way for you to understand why Ford is America's #1 truck. Experience it. Don't buy any Chevy truck until you drive one of our Fords. Feature for feature, dollar for dollar, our Ford trucks will beat Chevy in a heartbeat.
Get a great Ford truck now for less at your world-class Ford dealer, exclusively serving portions of Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Ohio, and Maryland.
This boy and girl are the same age, but statistics show that on average, the girl should live 7 years longer. Because she's a better risk, she'll be able to buy the same individual life insurance coverage at lower cost. Basing premiums on the risk involved makes it possible to give you the fairest life insurance rates possible. It's a principle that works for us all. The lower your risk, the lower your premium.
And now here's Al Julius with some thoughts on where American dollars are really going. Al?
Thanks, Stacey. Whatever Mr. Nakasone and Mr. Reagan accomplished, and it doesn't seem like much, it isn't going to mean anything. It isn't going to change anything until we start producing goods and buying the goods that we produce. The dollars will keep flowing out of this country, and we will continue to be the world's largest debtor nation well on the road to becoming a most dependent nation. Look, we are the biggest consumers in the world. That's why everybody wants a piece of our market. Without getting into the philosophy of it all, the fact is that we are a materialistic society. We want things, we accumulate things. When we've got the money, all too often, even when we don't, we go out and buy things. And they can put tariffs on them, slap quotas on them, but if we want them, we'll buy them. We call that our standard of living, and we're not going to change. What we can change is who we buy these things, these goods, from. We've got to increase our production of consumer goods, get back those markets that we have relinquished. Sure, you read the headline and it says, factory orders rise 2.3% in March. But read past the headline, and you find out that most of that came from a rise in military equipment. Up 39% in March, 49% in February. 80% of the increase in durable goods was due to the demand for military hardware. And sure, this creates jobs, but it does not produce goods. It does not decrease our dependency on foreign countries for consumer goods. You don't go out and buy a pair of tanks for the kids, a destroyer for the den, or a bomber to put in the kitchen. Those who are working making the tanks, ships, planes, want to use their paychecks to buy shoes, VCRs, appliances. And if they can't buy them here, they'll buy them from over there, way beyond the seas over there. And our dollars end up over there, way beyond the seas over there. So what do we have to do? First off, import tariffs that are collected should be used to stimulate domestic consumer goods production. Second, the banks that want the government to set a foreign policy that'll bail them out of their bad foreign loans should have to set aside a healthy amount of low-interest money that'll go for loans to companies that want to produce consumer goods. And most of all, we've got to get into the habit of looking at labels. Made in the United States, that's what you look for, that's what you buy. And if it costs a few dollars more, then understand that those few dollars will stay here. Those few dollars will create jobs here. Those few dollars will come back to you when those with jobs start buying the products that you make. It is written that man cannot live on bread alone. Let it also be written that no nation can survive on tanks, ships, and planes alone. You can't eat them, wear them, and nobody wants to use them. In this economic war, the buck is stronger than the bullet. So why? Why do we keep making bullets and losing bucks?
You can feel it. A fast start, quick response, and smooth performance.
Running smooth and silent. Exxon, Exxon.
Try Exxon Extra Premium. Its powerful detergent additive XCL12 can clean fuel injectors in as little as a single tankful, while its high-octane power formula keeps you running smooth.
Running with the tiger. Exxon.
Someone put a bender in my left front fender.
Leave it to the good hands, people.
I got a dent in the door of my 4x4.
Allstate makes an accident a little easier to take. We offer a repair guarantee, and in most cases, we'll give you a settlement on the spot.
I parked in a lot in a place that I trusted, but when I returned, my window was busted.
Leave it to the good hands, people.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
When you come to Meineke Discount Mufflers, relax.
I'm not gonna pay a lot for this muffler.
You're not gonna pay a lot for your muffler.
I'm not gonna pay a lot for this muffler.
I'm not gonna pay a lot for this muffler.
Meineke's the nation's discount muffler leader. We'll fix your car the right way at the right price from $18.93 installed.
Oh, I'm not gonna pay a lot for this muffler.
You're not gonna pay a lot at Meineke.
Hungry for strawberries and cream? How about strawberry shortcake?
Well, this week at Shop and Save, large California ripe strawberries are only 57 cents a pound. They're irresistible. Your favorite flavors of Breyer's ice cream, just $2.99 a half gallon. Stock up on the 1-pound quarters of Bluebonnet margarine, 3 for $1. And take home some Fab laundry detergent, only $3.99 for the 147-ounce box. So, shop for the difference at Shop and Save.
If you need information on how to obtain a closed captioning decoder like this one, call Pittsburgh Hearing, Speech, and Deaf Services at 281-1375.
What would it be like to go from obscurity into the limelight? Well, tonight, Mary Rob Jackson meets a Pittsburgh artist who is living a dream come true.
Every starving artist is always looking for that one big break. David Massarelli was no exception. That was until a few months ago when the Carnegie Mellon grad picked up the phone to find he was famous.
The voice on the other end of the phone said, "Is this David Massarelli?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Is this David Massarelli, the artist?" I said, "Yes." And she said, "I've been looking for you for quite some time." I mean, she's talking years. And she told me that she acquired one of my paintings in L.A. and that it's hanging on her home and that she was Mrs. Ricardo Montalban.
He learned that not only had one of his paintings become part of Montalban's private collection, it was also being featured in a spread in the March issue of the prestigious Architectural Digest in a story on the actor's elegant Los Angeles hacienda. And that was just the beginning. Massarelli was invited to Hollywood for a private showing of his work.
And then that's when I found out who was going to come and see them. And then the list of people were actors like Charlton Heston, Lonnie Anderson, John Forsythe, Joan Collins, Linda Evans, and it's just an endless string of them.
You must have felt like you were in the middle of a fairy tale.
I did. The impact of it didn't hit me until I think the whole event was over.
Closer to home, Massarelli's work is now being showcased at a special exhibition at the Steve Mendelson Gallery in Shadyside. 2 of the large abstract canvases have already been sold. Massarelli is at work on a new series of paintings in his Mexican War Street studio, and the commissions are pouring in. But the real irony behind all his newfound fame is that the painting, now owned by Montalban, that started it all, was sold by a former friend of Massarelli's without his permission. He never got a penny. So what would he say if he ever met the guy again?
I would just say thanks. You helped me out. You really did.
For Lifestyle, Mary Rob Jackson, KDKA TV, Eyewitness News.
That is it for this edition of Eyewitness News.
Our next report tonight at 11. Now stay tuned for the live lottery drawing, followed by the CBS Evening News.
From all of us here at Eyewitness News, good evening.
Tonight, personal tragedy for Christine and heroic triumph for Mary Beth put a strain on their partnership. Cagney and Lacey, tonight at 10 on KDKA TV2.